Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, in my opinion, is a pretty scary one. I thought it was a good fit for the Halloween season. Just been telling these scary stories, and people seem to like them, so leave a like on the video if you guys enjoy this, and let's start this. So this story time takes place when I was 12 years old, okay? Now, my mom was sending me to this summer camp, and I didn't like going to summer camp. I'd been there before, I hated it, I never wanted to go back, I didn't plan on going back, but my mom was going on like some 2-week vacation with her friends, and she didn't want me to have like a babysitter, and she just basically told me like, okay, you can either go to summer camp, or you can go stay with your friends. And I tried to stay with my friends, but none of them wanted me to stay for 2 weeks. They were all too busy. So I hit up one of my friends and I'm like, look, man, I'm going to this summer camp for like 2 weeks. Do you want to come with me? And he's like, sure. And I'm like, awesome. So that made this whole experience a lot better. I was excited that I was going with a friend of mine rather than alone, because going to summer camp by myself with no friends probably would have made it really boring. I feel like it'd be hard to make friends there. So anyway, the day finally came where my mom was leaving for 2 weeks. So I got my things ready. My mom got in her car, went and picked up my friend, and she drove us like 45 minutes away. We got to this summer camp. We get out of the car. We say hello to the camp counselors that are greeting us, and we start loading our things into the cabin we were staying at. And my mom says goodbye. We say goodbye to her, and camp had officially started. Now, the first few days of camp weren't too bad. It wasn't the most fun thing in the world. It wasn't the most boring thing in the world. It was kind of just like in the middle. You know, like I said earlier, having my friend there made it a lot easier to deal with. But at the same time, it still was pretty boring because me and my friend were 12, so we weren't really at that age where we wanted to go to summer camp. We'd probably rather just stay home and play Halo and just no-life video games, and that's really all I wanted to be doing at this time. Like, every night when I went to sleep at this camp, I would just think to myself, like, wow, I really wish my mom just trusted me to be home alone because I'd just be playing Xbox all night right now. And sadly, this camp did not allow electronics. Like, the minute we got there, we had to turn in our phones and everything. Like, we could not have electronics at this camp. So that wasn't fun. We only could use them if we had to call our parents. So anyway, yeah, like I said, the first few days of camp wasn't that bad. Even the first week, I'd say, wasn't that bad. But on the first day of the second week of camp, this is when everything went downhill. So the camp that I was staying at decided to do a summer Halloween night. They wanted to like decorate the whole cafeteria with Halloween decorations, and we'd watch scary movies, and we'd have a whole like little Halloween horror night in the middle of summer. And I didn't really understand that because, you know, Halloween was not anywhere near this time. But I guess it's something to do, you know, a theme to follow, so why not, right? So me and the rest of the people in my cabin and these camp counselors all went to the cafeteria, and we started decorating this cafeteria with Halloween decorations, and they rolled in the cart with the TV on it, and they got a bunch of movies out, a bunch of old Halloween movies. And they weren't like straight up terrifying movies. They couldn't play like true scary movies because, you know, there was a bunch of kids here. They got like the funny scary movies and like the cheesy scary movies that wouldn't scare people that bad. So yeah, they load up one of these movies and we start having this Halloween themed summer night at summer camp. And I can't lie, it was kind of fun. Like, it was kind of enjoyable. Like, we were just hanging out, watching this movie, eating snacks. Me and my friend met some people from the cabin that were really cool, so we kind of had like our little friend group there. And it was actually really enjoyable. So fast forward like 2 hours, the Halloween movie night was over. We start breaking down all the decorations, we start packing things up, and it was really fun, can't lie. But then my camp counselor suggested something that seemed kind of like a bad idea. He was like, hey guys, you guys want to go out in the forest after this and play hide and seek? And all of us 12-year-olds were like, fuck yeah, we do. Obviously, we didn't say that, but we were like, yeah, of course we do. And I wanted to as well. But at the same time, I was thinking in my head, like, wow, that's probably not a good idea. Like, we're in a forest in the middle of nowhere at this summer camp. Like, how is this safe for a bunch of kids? So I just kind of didn't even think about it. I was like, whatever, like, I'm sure it'll be fine. So me, my friend, and everybody from the cabin went back to our cabin with our counselor, and our camp counselor grabbed this huge bucket out of the closet before we went into the woods, and it was a whole bucket filled with these belts that had lights all over them in neon colors. And he's like, all right, guys, so this is what you're going to wear into the forest. You guys are going to wear these. That way, when it's time to regroup, we know where everybody is. They have lights on them. Make sure you put it on nice and tight. Everybody grab one. So we all went over there, we put them on, and that kind of answered my question of like, okay, that's how we're going to do this in the dark woods. So yeah, we all went into the woods after this, and we began playing hide and seek in the middle of this dark forest with our giant, funny-looking LED belts. They weren't on while we were playing, but when it was time to regroup at the end of every round, they would all turn on at the same time. I think my counselor had a remote or something. So yeah, we all went into the forest to start this game of hide and seek, and the first couple rounds were fun. You know, I was actually enjoying myself, and then the third round happened, and this is when everything changed. This is when the whole camp changed, okay? So me, my friend, and 2 other people from our cabin decided to hide together on this round. So my camp counselor starts counting down from 2 minutes, and me and all of my friends ran as far back into the forest as we could. We got so far that we reached a line. There was like a giant line of tape that was like neon orange. And I think that was the line where it wasn't their property anymore, so we couldn't go any farther than that. And we all hid behind this giant tree right in front of this property line. And like 30 seconds into hiding behind this tree, we're just staying as quiet as we can, and we start hearing branches snapping like someone's walking by. So I peek over the tree stump to see if it's one of our friends, and it's this super tall guy wearing all black just walking around with his hood up. Now honestly, I just assumed this was another camp counselor because there were so many of them at this camp. Like there would be extras all the time just kind of spectating events and stuff. But I realized something. All of the camp counselors had to wear this lanyard around their neck, and it's like a laminated pass that says camp counselor on it. And I realized this guy wasn't wearing one. He's wearing all black and he has his hood up. So I ducked down. I'm not taking any chances of this guy seeing me, just in case this is some random guy who doesn't belong to the camp. So I'm ducked behind this tree, and my friend's like, yo, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know, man. It could be a counselor. It's some guy wearing all black. Like, he has his hood up. I can't see his face. And my friend's like, why is he wearing a hoodie in the summer? Now, I don't know how he expected me to answer that question. I didn't have the answer to that question. It could be because he didn't want to get bit by mosquitoes. It could be because he's a creepy stalker that wants to hide his face. I don't know. So I just respond and say, I don't know. And we all just keep ducking behind this tree, staying as silent as we can after this. So we stay behind this tree for like 5 more minutes, and then all of a sudden, we hear like this loud, just terrifying scream from this girl in our cabin. And it was so loud and so far away, like she screamed really loud. The whole forest must have heard this. And right after she screamed, all of our belts turned on, like all the lights. And I heard my camp counselor yelling, everyone get back here now! So everyone gets up, and we start running as fast as we can back to this counselor, and we all regroup at the front of the forest, and he runs us all inside the cabin and locks the door, and he tells all of us to get under our beds. And all of us are so confused. We're all like, what's going on? And this one girl is just in the corner of the room crying. So I walk up to her. I'm like, hey, what's happening? Like, why are you crying? She's like, I saw this guy. I saw this man in the woods. He had a mask on. Like, I screamed, and I just ran as fast as I could back to the counselor. And then I realized, I'm like, okay, that's the girl that screamed. All right, that answers that. So then I ask her, I'm like, wait, who'd you see? Like, what'd he look like? And she goes, I saw this man. He was walking through the forest towards me. He was wearing all black. He had a hoodie on, and he was wearing like a white mask. And I'm like, wait, really? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I saw him too, but I didn't see his face. I didn't see the mask. And she's like, you saw him? I'm like, yeah, I thought he was a camp counselor just walking through the forest with a hoodie on. And my counselor overheard us talking, and he's like, you saw this guy, Austin? I'm like, yeah, I saw like the back of him. I didn't see his face or anything. Like, she said he had a mask on. So then I start questioning everything. I'm like, wait a minute, we just had a Halloween night here, like in the summer. You guys are definitely just pulling a prank. And the counselor goes, Austin, this is not a joke. This is not a prank. I would not lock you down like this. I need you and everybody to stay back and stay behind your beds. And I'm like, oh, okay. And even from a young age, I was pretty good at telling if someone was pulling a prank or not. And his tone was very serious. Like, I knew the minute he said that this was serious. So me and all my friends walked back and crouched back behind the bed. And we were all just kind of terrified at this point because for a split second, we thought it was a prank. But sadly, it wasn't. So like 5 minutes later, we start hearing sirens, and I look out the window, and there are police lights everywhere. They had the cops come out here and surround the camp, and they start searching through all of the woods, and we get evacuated out of our cabin to the parking lot, and they start calling all of our parents. Now, my mom was out of town, so me and my friend had no ride home. We had no idea what we were going to do. And they start sending all these kids home. And they called my mom, and she answered, and she couldn't come get us because she was in another state. So she gave them my dad's number, and they called my dad, and he came and got us. It took him like 45 minutes to get out there. And when he got out there, we were finally ready to leave. And before I left, I told the police about what I saw, and that girl told them as well. And then after that, we got out of there real quick because I can't lie, I was terrified, and so was my friend. And yeah, I was just in disbelief. Like, I really thought in the back of my head for most of this time that it was a prank. Like, for real. Even though he said it wasn't a prank and I believed him, I still had this little feeling like, come on, like, that's too much of a coincidence. Like, right after a scary movie night and a Halloween-themed night, someone pops up in the woods wearing all black and a mask. Like, come on. But boy, was I wrong when they shut the whole camp down and had the police surround the place and start searching. And guess what? They never found him. And the whole rest of the summer, the camp was shut down. Nobody was allowed back. Now, I'm pretty sure it opened next summer, but I never went back there, and neither did my friend. I'm pretty sure a lot of people never went back there. Like, after you hear about a man creeping through the forest in all black in a mask, like, you probably don't want to go stay at that summer camp ever again. That's like a classic scary movie plot. Like, I don't want to be in that. But anyway, guys, yeah, in the end, everybody was okay. Moral of this story is, don't go play hide and seek in the middle of the woods at night. Not a good idea. But I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
And I'm like, what's up? They leave me out for the dead, and now they know they're fucked. All my texts are unread, that's how I know she's done. My life changed in a flash, all my friends gone, my friends gone.